Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another fashion edition. Last time we talked about the Critics' Choice Awards red carpet, or I guess black carpet, I was looking at who Vogue chose as their best dressed celebrities, and I did not agree with the majority of the list. There was a few that I thought were just fine, but the rest I said, what is happening? I don't like it. So let's take a look and see if we can find something else better, if there are any better looks out there. Let's begin with Jessica Biel. This is too busy. She has an amazing figure. I wish she would have done something that highlighted it a little bit more. This is so busy. There is so many textures and colors and patterns and directions going on here. It's just a little overwhelming and also, just in my personal opinion, a little ugly. This is a boho chic vibe, which is fine, but I just feel like it didn't flatter her and it was too busy. Hannah Einbinder is wearing Louis Vuitton. This is a really interesting piece. It's not my personal favorite, but this is definitely an old world look. An ecru silk taffeta and black velvet off-the-shoulder gown. It has a pleated top with balloon sleeves. I think it's interesting. Its structure allows her waistline to peek through, which helps her figure shine, and for these balloon sleeves to not overwhelm. I quite like the structure. It's something different. The balloon sleeves are borderline too much, but I think she's pulling it off okay. I think it was smart to go with a more modern hairstyle and keep her makeup simple rather than trying to lean too much into, some sort of a retro hairstyle here in this scenario. It's not my favorite. I don't think it should be on Best Dressed, but I do think it's successfully pulled off and very interesting. Alicia Silverstone is wearing Stella McCartney here. This is pretty. It's a pretty dress. We've seen this before. It's a pretty classic construction from them. However, the pleats down the front and the draping are actually adding a lot of bulk and weight to her midsection here, and it's exaggerating her hip line. If it didn't have the paneling and pleats that came from the bust line down, it would have allowed her waistline to look more slender, or if they came at angles or something. But this is actually kind of bulking up her tummy a little bit. So I feel like it's not as flattering as it could have been. I also wonder if this color is washing her out a tad. Not the best match for her specifically, in my opinion. But Leighton Meester and Carolina Herrera looks really, really nice. This is a simple column gown in a semi-sheer lilac with dainty crystal embroidery. It's certainly adding plenty of visual interest with this pattern paired up with the dress's clean lines. It's not overwhelming. I think this is really nice. I would have loved to see a necklace though here in this case. This is a Gap Studio dress and I'm not loving it. It sends denim vibes. It looks a little ill-fitting around the armpit and shoulder area, and this particular construction where the straps are just kind of coming out at this angle, are actually widening her shoulders just a tad, and creating an almost droopy effect. The draping isn't that flattering here. I'm not loving this. I feel like it could have been a lot better. This was designed by Zac Posen for Gap Studio, and I just think it's not the most flattering for her. But Odessa looks amazing here in this silver disco-esque sequined gown. This is really, really pretty. As you can see, it is defined around the waistline. This keyhole element on the chest allows the turtleneck to not be overwhelming to her, and the volume of the dress is not overwhelming because it's nice and tight throughout the bodice. I think this is really fun. It would have been equally as stunning with an updo. Jackie Ton's yellow dress I think is just okay. It's definitely not my favorite. It looks a little stiff on her. It could be her posing. Ji Young Hoo's pink dress is pretty, but the bust line looks quite ill-fitting here. You can see there's some puckering and it looks like it's pulling away, which looks unintentional, but I do love the color. I think it's a nice attempt. Danielle Brooks is taking some chances here. This is a semi-sheer mesh dress. The fit of this, the simple sort of bodycon fit, is actually rather slimming for her. There's been times where she's wearing things that have a lot more volume that just widen her further and make her look bigger or a little bit more frumpy. So this is avoiding all of that. But I'm not 100% behind the sheerness of it. It almost looks like it was a mistake. Definitely taking a risk That's for sure. I do appreciate the jewelry, makeup, and hair paired up with this. That works well. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Charlie Hunnam is wearing Balenciaga. Shame on him. Although they have changed creative directors, as I've said, the people who own Balenciaga still have not adequately, corrected the mistakes of the previous creative director, in my opinion. Carrie Preston's pink ombre sequined dress is quite nice. Because it's really shiny and sparkly and sequiny, that's really visually heavy and busy. So it's smart to keep the silhouette more tight and simple here. This simple column style is allowing the sequins to be the star of the show. It doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need a lot of volume or anything like that. It's enough on its own. You don't want to be doing too much at once. It usually goes bad. Ooh, I really like Cheryl Lee Ralph's dress by Tony Ward. This is very, very pretty. I like the embroidery on the skirt. The belt is nice. The volume of the skirt is balancing out her bust line and whatnot here while still defining the waist. I think this is beautiful. Justine Lupe is wearing Prada, and this is quite pretty, though I wish there wasn't both a bow at the neckline and at the waist. I feel like that's one too many. There should be just one or the other, or maybe something just really small that doesn't hang down as far would have been nice. But I like the soft, ethereal, semi-sheer fabric in this pale blue. I think it's different and very, very girly, very pretty. Paul Downs and Megan Stalter have a sense of humor. This is very, very funny to parody Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner's orange looks. They were a little much. They were overwhelming. It looked kind of tacky. I mean, same goes here, but here they're doing a parody, so it's funny and cheeky, and I like it. Quinta Brunson is going for a wide leg trouser look here. I feel like the suit jacket is just a little bit too long. If it were shortened just a tad, it would create a better balance between her torso and her lower body or leg proportion and ratio here. And the trousers are also just a touch too long. As you can see, they're puddling up on the floor a little bit. But the fit of the jacket is very, very nice. Erin Doherty is wearing Louis Vuitton. This is a very sculptural piece here. It looks like a literal diamond shape. Very interesting. It looks like it's sitting a tiny bit low on the bust, but it's certainly not my favorite. I think it's interesting though, and very well done. I mean, the construction on this, you cannot deny, is amazing. That would be very challenging to make. I like Chris Marshall's maternity design here, except this skirt paired with the top just feels a little bit of a disconnect. The skirt looks cheap compared to the top, and it just doesn't quite go. I feel like it would have been better if there was a little bit more contrast between the colors here. Having them so close in tone and color is lending itself to this mismatched sort of an appearance. Kaylee Cuoco is wearing Simkai. The peekaboo bralette is helping to combat the oversizedness of the jacket, but I still feel like the sleeves have too much room and length, and the trousers have too much room plus length for this to really be perfect. If the sleeves had been tightened up or shortened just a tad, and the trousers hemmed a little bit, this would have been a lot more successful. McKenna Grace in vintage Vera Wang. Love it. I think this is really, really pretty. It does look like there's some puckering along the seams, which I will excuse on the basis of it being a vintage dress. You don't want to make too many adjustments to a vintage piece, but it's a very pretty, simple, elegant silhouette here and looks very nice. I really like Megan Faye's dress. It's simple but beautiful. It fits her really nice. She looks lovely. I like this. I think this is nice. These types of dresses should be more popular because they flatter the wearer. Sarah Snook, another pantsuit. I like the cropped jacket. It's fitting her great, so it's reining in at the waistline, defining her figure very nicely. It creates great balance. When you do wide leg trousers and a very big blazer or jacket on top, it overwhelms most people. It's not easy to pull that look off, so I quite like this approach with the cropped jacket, and the wide leg trouser creates better balance in my opinion. I like Sterling K. Brown's velvet dinner jacket here. This is very nice. I like the pop of color, and everything else is well fitted. Trammell Tillman's embellished suit isn't quite as successful though. It looks a little ill-fitting here. The jacket is just kind of straight. It doesn't have much shape to it, and then the trousers are doing the same thing. So it's a little bit blocky, a little bit stiff looking. But overall, I'm a little bit disappointed, a little bit underwhelmed, I should say. I feel like there wasn't many wow moments. There wasn't anything that really blew me away or was like, oh, this is amazing. I love this. Across either of these fashion editions, I really like Mia Goth's Dior look. I think Chase Suey Wonders in Miu Miu was really, really nice. Those were from last fashion edition. Very successful. Jeff Goldblum, very successful. But other than that, I'm just, meh. It was just kind of blah. What did you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I'll see you next time. Bye!